Did you know that even a tiny change in the testicles after age 60 could be a warning sign of permanently losing your sexual function? Sounds frightening, doesn't it? But in reality, this is something I've seen in more patients than I can count. The testicles gradually shrink with age. The semen becomes thinner and most people think it's just normal aging. But is it really? Have you ever asked yourself, why is my body changing so fast? Why, just a few years after turning 60, do all the feelings, the drive, and even my confidence feel like they're slipping away? I once met a 68-year-old man. He came into my clinic just because he felt like something was off. No pain, no fever, no obvious symptoms, just a gut feeling that something wasn't right. And honestly, the result of that checkup is something I'll never forget in my 20 years of practice. What seemed like a small discovery opened up a chain of consequences that, if ignored, could have cost him not just his health but also his confidence and happiness in the later years of life. So, is gradual testicular shrinkage really normal? Is thinning semen just a sign of aging? Or is your body gently but persistently trying to tell you it's time to start paying attention? In today's video, I'll explain, in the most honest and simple way, what's really going on inside a man's body after 60. These signs might seem small at first, but they could be major red flags for your sexual and hormonal health. If you've ever wondered or felt something's not right and didn't know who to ask, I hope this video gives you the answers you've been searching for. First, let's talk about how the testicles change after 60. Once you pass the age of 60, your body begins to change in subtle but powerful ways. One of the most silent and often ignored changes happens in the testicles. The testicles, which act as the body's command center for male hormones, begin to show signs of aging. But not everyone notices this clearly. Physiologically, testicles tend to shrink in size after 60. This is a gradual process that happens over many years. As the tissue inside the testicles starts to harden and scar, the cells responsible for producing testosterone hormone that drives libido, erections, and overall male health start to decrease in both quantity and quality. Not only that, but the ability to produce healthy sperm also declines. One thing that really concerns me is how many men don't even realize their testicles are shrinking. Why? Because the change happens slowly and gently. There's no pain, no discomfort, nothing that feels urgent. In fact, many men who feel less desire or a little weaker than before just accept it as part of aging. They accept instead of questioning. And that silence, that lack of awareness is what causes critical signs to be missed. I once examined a 72-year-old man. He looked completely healthy. He came in just for a routine checkup. But during the physical exam, I noticed his testicles were much smaller than average and almost soft. When I asked more questions, he said, "Yeah, they feel a bit different, but I figured that's just aging." After running some tests, we found that he had severe testosterone deficiency, a condition that didn't just affect his sexual function, but also caused chronic fatigue, mild depression, and increased risk of osteoporosis. The key here is to know the difference between benign testicular atrophy, meaning a slight size reduction due to normal aging, and pathological atrophy, where the shrinkage is actually a symptom of something deeper. Hormonal imbalance, infection, or structural damage in the testicles. Another patient, just 65 years old, came to see me after using cholesterol-lowering drugs and tranquilizers for a few years. He felt constantly tired, had low sex drive, and told me he didn't feel like himself anymore. When we examined him, his testicles had clearly shrunken. After reviewing his medication history, I found this was a textbook case of testicular atrophy caused by drug side effects. As you can see, changes in the testicles should never be taken lightly. They're not just a part of aging. They could be signs, warnings that your body needs more attention. And from here, we'll dive into another signone that seems harmless, but carries serious risks: watery semen. So here's the question. Is watery semen just part of aging, or is it a sign of something dangerous? Once you understand the subtle changes happening in the testicles, it becomes easier to see how they connect to another sign that's common but often overlooked: watery semen. Semen, simply put, is the fluid a man ejaculates. It doesn't just contain sperm, it's also a mix of fluids from the prostate, seminal vesicles, and Cowper's glands. This fluid protects, nourishes, and helps sperm move. Healthy semen is usually off-white, slightly thick, with a mild smell and a balanced consistency. When semen becomes watery, light in color, or clear like water, that's when we need to pay attention. The issue is, many men, especially after 60s, that their semen is thinner than usual and just assume it's part of getting older. They accept the change as something inevitable, without realizing that sometimes it's the first clue of a deeper problem in the reproductive system. One common cause of watery semen is low testosterone. When testosterone drops, sperm production slows, and the sperm count in semen drops too. As a result, semen becomes less dense, less alive. This doesn't just affect fertility, it also signals that the body's hormone balance is slipping, which can lead to problems with mood, sleep, and metabolism. Watery semen can also come from infections in the reproductive tract, like prostatitis, seminal vesiculitis, or epididymitis. These infections don't always cause pain or fever sometimes. They just change the color, smell, or texture of the semen. Left untreated, chronic infections can lead to scarring and damage to the sperm ducts or testicular tissue. Another cause that most people don't consider is blockage in the sperm ducts. When the flow of sperm is blocked, the sperm count in semen is almost zero, making the semen clear and watery. This usually happens silently, without obvious symptoms, and is often only discovered through fertility testing or advanced exams. Lastly, there's the possibility of physical damage to the testicles from injury, long-term medication use, or slow structural changes. These issues directly hurt sperm production, leading to thin, weak, low-quality semen. I remember a 66-year-old patient who drove long-haul trucks. He told me that recently, every time he ejaculated, the semen looked very watery, almost clear. No pain, no discomfort. But after a detailed exam, we found he had chronic prostatitis combined with severely low testosterone. If not treated soon, this could affect not just his sex life, but also his urinary and mental health. Watery semen isn't just a sign of getting older. It's a signal, a quiet reminder from your body that you need to listen and take better care of yourself. And when we understand that, we can start digging deeper to find the real cause and take action to protect your health in time. In the next section, I'll talk about the most common causes of testicular shrinkage and watery semen in older men. These might seem like ordinary factors, but they're silently affecting millions of men every day. One of the most fundamental and most common causes is low testosterone. This hormone defines male strength, from sex drive and erections to bone density, muscle mass, and even mood. After age 30, testosterone starts to slowly decline. But after 60, the drop gets faster, steeper, and more noticeable. When testosterone falls, the testicles stop getting the signals they need to function, leading to tissue shrinkage, less sperm production, and lower semen quality. But it doesn't stop there. Chronic conditions like diabetes, high blood pressure, and heart disease also play a huge role. These illnesses mess with metabolism, damage the small blood vessels that supply the testicles, reduce blood flow, and impair hormone production. Diabetes especially harms the nerves and disrupts hormone function, hitting testosterone and fertility hard. Many men come in complaining of numbness or erectile issues, but underneath it all, it's poorly managed diabetes. Another quiet but very common culprit: prescription meds. You might be taking them daily without realizing they're affecting your testicles and semen. Some drugs like statins, blood pressure meds, or long-term sedatives can lower testosterone or disrupt your hormone system. I once treated a 70-year-old man who had been on all three for over 5 years. He came in with complete sexual dysfunction. But after adjusting his meds and changing his lifestyle, his health slowly returned, though it took time. And speaking of lifestyle, that's another critical piece. Alcohol, smoking, late nights, lack of exercise. All of these put pressure on your hormonal system. Alcohol harms the liver, the organ that processes hormones. Smoking damages blood vessels and cuts circulation to the testicles. Poor sleep throws off your body's natural hormone rhythms. And inactivity leads to belly fat, which happens to be the place where testosterone gets destroyed the fastest. Finally, we can't forget environmental factors. Chemicals in plastic packaging, pesticides in food, or even regular sauna use or hot baths. All of these can damage the testicles. Prolonged heat exposure is a proven factor that hurts sperm production. I remember a man in his 60s who repaired motorbikes at home. During winter, he often sat next to a charcoal stove to stay warm. He didn't drink, didn't smoke, but had shrunken testicles, watery semen, and a clear drop in libido. Tests showed his testosterone was extremely low. No chronic illness, no medications, and after monitoring, we concluded the main cause was long-term heat exposure to his groin. There are so many factors from inside and out that silently affect the sexual health of older men. Understanding these causes is the first step, but even more important is learning how to spot the signs early and taking action before it's too late. So how can you detect early signs and monitor your sexual health as a man? Once you understand the causes behind testicular shrinkage and thinning semen, the most important question becomes, how can you spot the signs early? And more importantly, how can you take charge of monitoring your own sexual health safely, discreetly, and effectively? First, listen to your body. Your body always finds a way to speak, it's just that we often get used to ignoring it. Here are some signs you shouldn't overlook. Your testicles gradually shrink over time, feel softer to the touch, or give you a sense of heaviness, tightness, or dull pain, especially if it's only on one side. Your semen stays consistently watery, not just once or twice, but for month 7 when there are no obvious other symptoms. You feel a noticeable drop in sexual desire, you're no longer interested like before, or you have trouble reaching orgasm. You experience persistent fatigue even though you sleep well and eat right, especially the kind of tiredness that's vague, hard to describe, but drains your motivation over time. If you notice one or more of these signs, don't panic. The first step is to do some simple at-home checks, gentle, discreet, and easy. This is something I often recommend to older patients because privacy matters deeply. Each morning when you wake up after you urinate, take 1-2 minutes to examine your testicles. Use your thumb and fingers to gently roll each testicle back and forth. Feel the firmness, the size, the symmetry. Healthy testicles are smooth, firm, and not painful. If you notice a clear difference, like one side is visibly smaller, feels spongy, or causes slight pain when touched, that's a sign to watch closely for a few days. If it doesn't improve after 1-2 weeks, go see a doctor. Also, pay attention to your semen during ejaculation, whether it's with a partner or during masturbation. Take note of the color and thickness. If your semen looks watery, lacks its usual texture, especially if it has an unusual smell or you feel discomfort afterward, that's something you shouldn't ignore. And here's something I want you to always remember. Don't be afraid to talk to a doctor. Many older men suffer in silence because of embarrassment over these sensitive issues. But you know what? Some problems, when caught early, can be reversed simply by adjusting medication or making lifestyle changes. So, when should you see a specialist? Go see a doctor if you have any of the following. Testicles that change in size or feel for more than 2 weeks. Semen that stays watery for over a month, with no improvement despite rest and a balanced lifestyle. Ongoing loss of sex drive, along with feeling drained or low on energy. Or simply, if you just feel like something isn't right, even if you can't explain it. The right type of doctor to see would be an endocrinologist or a men's health specialist. These are professionals trained specifically to understand age-related male sexual health and, more importantly, they can help you not only treat the condition, but regain the confidence that time may have taken away. Now, let me share some natural, simple, and effective strategies you can use every day to take care of your testicles, improve semen quality, and maintain your sexual health proactively. Once you've learned how to listen and respond to your body's signals, the next step is action taking, action to care, restore, and preserve your sexual health. The good news is, you can start with very natural, very simple steps and see long-lasting results if you stay consistent. The first and most important foundation is nutrition. Your testicles and hormonal system need proper nourishment to maintain testosterone production and semen quality. A zinc-rich diet is essential. Zinc is found in oysters, pumpkin seeds, lean red meat, and whole grains. This trace mineral plays a direct role in testosterone synthesis. Next is omega-3s found in salmon, sardines, flax seeds, and chia seeds. These improve blood circulation to the testicles and strengthen the sperm cell membrane, helping sperm move better and live longer. Vitamin D is also crucial. Studies have shown that men with low vitamin D levels often have low testosterone as well. That's why it's worth considering 15-20 minutes of morning sunlight or adding vitamin D through eggs, dairy, or supplements. Don't forget fermented foods like yogurt, kimchi, or miso. These are rich in gut-friendly bacteria, which are closely linked to how your body regulates hormones. A healthy gut leads to more stable hormone production and metabolism. Now, take a look at your daily lifestyle. One of the keys to maintaining sexual health is regular, gentle, physical activity. You don't need to run or lift heavy weights. Just walking 30 minutes a day, doing yoga, meditating, or practicing deep breathing is enough to stimulate the pituitary gland and testicles to naturally produce testosterone. Plus, these activities help manage stress zone of the biggest enemies of male hormones. Cutting back on alcohol and cigarettes is non-negotiable. Alcohol damages the liver where hormones are processed and smoking narrows blood vessels, reducing blood flow to the testicles. Even small weekly reductions can start to make a difference. Another often overlooked but major factor in sexual health is sleep. Aim for 7-8 hours of quality sleep every night. Deep sleep, especially at night, is when your body produces the most testosterone. Poor sleep and staying up late regularly can severely disrupt your hormones. Also, keep your blood sugar and blood pressure under control, especially if you have a history of diabetes or heart disease. These conditions directly affect blood flow to the testicles and the body's ability to make sperm. Lastly, I want to mention a few herbal remedies that are recognized by modern science and rooted in traditional medicine: ginseng, maca, horny goatweed, astragalus, and tribulus. These herbs help improve blood flow, support natural hormone function, and enhance semen quality in a steady and safe way. I've seen many older patients regain strength and confidence after just a few months of improving their diet, lifestyle, and adding the right herbs. No expensive treatments, no long-term reliance on medications, just consistency and belief that even after 60, your body can recover. And now, I want to invite you to pause for a moment to listen to one final thing. Something that, as a doctor, as a woman, and as someone walking alongside you, I truly hope you will always remember. A personal message, the one thing I want you to remember most. My friend, by now, you probably have a clearer understanding of the quiet changes happening inside your body, your testicles, your semen, your hormones, and the subtle signs that might actually be loud messages from within. But I believe there's something even more important than diagnosis or treatment, and that's how you see yourself as you enter this next stage of life. I've been a doctor for over 20 years, and I've met hundreds, even thousands of older men. And what saddens me most isn't the bad test results or serious conditions. What truly stays with me is when they say things like, "I guess I'm just old now. That part of life doesn't matter anymore." Or, "Men get weaker with age. It's nothing worth checking." But let me say this to you with all the honesty I have. Nothing is normal if your body is changing and you don't know why. Accepting change is part of life, but passively letting your body decline without asking why. Without fighting for yourself, that's how many people miss the chance to live well and feel alive in years that could still be full of joy. Growing older does not mean you have to accept sexual decline. It does not mean you have to suffer through fatigue, lose interest in life, feel less confident, or silently close the door on some of the most meaningful parts of your existence. No one ever said that turning 60 means you can't love, can't desire, or don't deserve care. In fact, the older you are, the more your body deserves love, attention, and the chance to heal. I once had a 74-year-old patient who was too embarrassed to talk about his struggles. He didn't want his wife to misunderstand, didn't want his kids to laugh. But after a few conversations, he slowly opened up. We made some changes: his diet, a daily morning walk, added a few gentle supplements. 3 months later, he came back with a smile that lit up the room. He said, "I didn't think I could feel this good again. Not like when I was young, but like I still matter." That's what I want you to remember most. Your body, whether you're 60, 70, or 80s, still deserves full care. Not to go back to being 25, but to wake up each day feeling like you're still in control, still allowed to enjoy life, and still looking forward to what's ahead. And if one day you feel like something's off in your body, please don't ignore it. Don't be afraid to ask questions. Don't hesitate to seek help. Because choosing to listen to your body is also choosing to keep living with meaning, and it's never too late for that. Issues like testicular shrinkage or watery semen aren't just about getting old, they're part of a bigger picture of men's health. A picture that, if you're willing to pay attention, to listen, and to care at the right time, you can absolutely change for the better. I hope that after this video, you'll look at your body not with worry or shame, but with a new understanding and a stronger sense of ownership. Your body has carried you through more than 60 years, through ups and downs, through countless responsibilities. Now, it's time to give it the care it truly deserves. If you've felt any of these changes: shrinking testicles, watery semen, a drop in desire, or just that sense of something's not like it used to be, leave a comment below. My team and I are here to listen and respond with respect, privacy, and detail. And if you found this video helpful, if you believe this knowledge might help your partner, your father, your uncle, or a friend, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Your small action today might open a new door for someone quietly going through changes they haven't yet found words for. Thank you for staying with me until the very end. I'll see you in the next video where I'll continue walking beside you on this journey of aging well with care, dignity, and heart.